For a moment, take a deep breath. Let go of every thought that ties you to the world outside. There is something I must tell you, something that will change your life forever. You have been searching, trying, hoping, and yet the one thing that holds you back is your inability to feel. You want to see proof first, to touch it, to grasp it with your hands, but this is not how creation works. The secret lies in your ability to assume, to believe, and most importantly, to feel that what you desire is already yours. Right now, I ask you, what do you want? Is it love, success, wealth, health? It does not matter, for all things are possible when you learn to feel. The moment you allow yourself to step into the reality of your wish fulfilled, the unseen forces move to bring it into form. You do not need permission from the world. You do not need to beg, to struggle, to chase. You only need to shift within, to accept without resistance that your desire is already yours. Tonight, before you sleep, I ask you to do this. Enter that drowsy state, that quiet moment before dreams take over, and imagine yourself living the life you desire. But do not just see it. Feel it. Feel the warmth of love if you seek companionship. Feel the joy of success if you desire wealth. Feel the ease of health if you long for healing. Hold on to that feeling until it becomes natural, until it feels like home. Release it. Walk in faith. Do not search for signs. The world must follow what you have already accepted as true. You are the creator, the architect of your own destiny. When you feel something is real, it is already done. There is a hidden force within you, one that has been overlooked, dismissed, and misunderstood. It is not found in effort, struggle, or force, yet it has the power to shape your reality, to turn your desires into tangible experiences. This force is feeling. You have been taught to believe that hard work, persistence, and external actions are the primary tools for success. You have been told that if you want something, you must chase it relentlessly, work tirelessly, and fight against the odds. But what if I told you that the secret is not in effort, but in knowing, in assuming, in feeling your desire as already fulfilled? This is the key that unlocks the unseen and brings it into form. Right now, think of the one thing you truly desire. Perhaps it is financial abundance, a loving relationship, vibrant health, or success in a chosen field. Whatever it may be, notice how your mind instinctively calculates how it will come, how long it will take, or whether it is even possible. This is the conditioning of the physical world, a world that demands proof before belief. But creation does not work this way. The truth is the reverse. Believe first, and the proof will follow. Everything you have in your life right now is a reflection of past assumptions and dominant feelings. You did not consciously struggle for every single thing you possess. Much of it came naturally because at some level you felt it was yours. The house you live in, the people you interact with, the circumstances you find yourself in, all of it was once an invisible feeling, a silent assumption, a state you occupied within before it materialized without. The mistake many make is trying to force a new reality while still feeling lack, doubt, or desperation. They visualize wealth while feeling poor. They affirm love while feeling lonely. They work hard but carry the underlying belief that success is difficult. This contradiction keeps them stuck, for it is not the thought alone that manifests, but the feeling behind it. Feeling is the substance of creation. It is the energy that molds reality. You must learn to assume the feeling of already having what you desire. When you close your eyes and imagine yourself living in the fullness of your wish fulfilled, Do not merely see it, feel it. Feel the peace of abundance, the security of success, the joy of love. Let it sink into your being until it feels natural, until it no longer feels like a dream, but a memory. This is not daydreaming, this is creation. The moment you accept a feeling as true, reality begins shifting to match it. You may not see changes immediately, but the unseen forces are already at work. Stay faithful to this new feeling, walk in it, speak from it, and most importantly, rest in it. Do not let the outer world deceive you. Circumstances do not matter. Only your inner state does. If you persist in the feeling of your desire fulfilled, the world must conform. It has no choice. For feeling is the secret, and what you feel, you become. Your imagination is the foundation of your reality. Everything you see, touch, and experience in the physical world first existed in the unseen realm of thought. Every great invention, every towering skyscraper, every work of art, and every success story began as an idea, an image held in the mind. But it is not merely thinking or wishing that brings these things to life. It is the assumption that they are real, the feeling of their truth, that causes them to manifest. Your imagination is not a place of idle fantasy, it is the workshop of creation. The reality you live in today is the direct result of what you have imagined and accepted as true in the past. Whether you were aware of it or not, your dominant assumptions shape the course of your life. The relationships you have, the money in your account, the opportunities before you, all of it is a reflection of your inner world. If you wish to change what you see, you must first change what you imagine and feel to be real. Many people believe they are victims of circumstances, but nothing in your external world has power over you unless you accept it as true. The outer world is a shadow, a reflection of your internal state. If you persist in the assumption of lack, struggle, or rejection, your world must mirror that experience. But if you dare to assume and feel the reality of abundance, ease, and love, then your world must shift to reflect that new assumption. Feeling is the bridge between imagination and manifestation. It is not enough to merely think about what you want. You must feel it as if it were already yours. The subconscious mind does not respond to words alone. It responds to emotion, to the depth of conviction behind the thought. If you imagine yourself wealthy while secretly feeling poor, your dominant feeling will win and poverty will persist. But if you assume the feeling of wealth, of security, or financial ease, even before a single dollar appears, the world must rearrange itself to make that assumption real. Your imagination is limitless, and so are the possibilities before you. Nothing is too big, too difficult, or too far beyond reach. The only limits that exist are those you place on yourself through doubt and disbelief. The moment you release these limitations and dwell in the feeling of your desire fulfilled, the world begins to shift. People, events, and opportunities move in ways you could not have predicted. Paths open where there were none before. What once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. The key is persistence. You must remain faithful to your inner vision regardless of what the outer world shows you. Do not be deceived by temporary appearances. The delay between assumption and manifestation is only an illusion meant to test your faith. If you continue to live in the feeling of your desire, without wavering, without doubting, then what you have imagined will harden into fact. Everything begins within. Your imagination creates your reality, and feeling is the force that brings it to life. Assume the best, feel it as real, and watch as your world transforms before your eyes. The world you see around you is not as solid or fixed as it seems. Everything that appears in your reality is merely a reflection of your past thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions. Your senses tell you that circumstances are real, that what is in front of you is all there is. But this is an illusion. The physical world is not the cause of your experiences, it is the effect. The cause is within you. Most people live as though the outside world has power over them. They react to what they see, hear, and feel, believing that circumstances dictate their emotions, their actions, and their possibilities. If they see lack, they believe in lack. If they experience rejection, they assume they are unworthy. They allow what appears now to determine what they will continue to experience. But if you live this way, you are merely chasing shadows. You are allowing the past to repeat itself, because you are holding on to what your senses tell you is true. If you wish to change your reality, you must first detach from what your senses report. Do not let the external world define you. It is not permanent. It is not unchangeable. It is simply a reflection of what you once assumed to be true. To create something new, you must turn your attention inward and shift your inner state. You must feel differently first, before the world can reflect it back to you. Think of a mirror. If you frown into it, it does not smile back at you. The image only changes when you change. Reality works the same way. If you feel poor, neglected, or unworthy, the world will continue to reflect that back to you. But if you assume a new feeling, if you persist in the belief that you are abundant, loved, and successful, the mirror must change. It has no choice. The world is only responding to what you assume to be true. This is why detachment is essential. If you remain emotionally tied to what your senses show you, you will keep reinforcing the same reality. You must rise above appearances and live from a deeper knowing. The knowing that what you feel within now is what will soon become real in the world outside. Ignore the current circumstances if they do not align with your desires. They are nothing more than echoes of old beliefs. They are not permanent. They are not final. Detachment does not mean ignoring your responsibilities or withdrawing from life. It means refusing to be controlled by the illusion of lack, failure, or limitation. It means choosing your inner state rather than letting the world choose it for you. When you master this, you become free. You no longer react to life, you create it. Your only job is to hold on to the feeling of what you desire as if it is already true. The world will catch up. It must. The unseen always precedes the seen. Change how you feel and reality will follow. Let go of doubt. Stop reacting. And trust in the unseen power within you. Your world will transform before your eyes. You do not need to beg for what is already yours. You do not need to wish, to hope, or to look outside of yourself for signs that your desire is coming. If you truly understood the power within you, you would know that desire itself is proof of its fulfillment. The moment you desire something, it already exists in an unseen reality. Your only task is to dwell in the end, to assume and feel that it is already yours. Most people live in a state of waiting. They hope, they long, they wish for a future in which their dreams will come true. But in doing so, they keep their desire in the future, always just out of reach. They send signals to their subconscious mind that they do not have what they want, and so the world reflects that lack. The secret is not in waiting, but in assuming, in stepping into the state of already having it. Think of your deepest desire. Instead of seeing it as something separate from you, something you must chase or work for, imagine it as already fulfilled. How would you feel if you had it right now? How would you move, speak, and think if it were already done? Let that feeling consume you. Let it become your natural state. The more you dwell in this feeling, the more real it becomes. until the world has no choice but to conform. You do not need to know how your desire will manifest. That is not your concern. The world will rearrange itself in ways you cannot predict. Opportunities will arise, circumstances will shift, and people will play their part, all aligning to bring your assumption into reality. But you must remain faithful to the end result. You must persist in the feeling of fulfillment, regardless of what the outer world currently shows you. This is where many people fail. They begin to assume, to feel the reality of their wish, but then they look around and see no immediate change. Doubt creeps in. They check for signs, they question whether it is working, and they slip back into their old state of longing. This wavering undoes their work. To manifest what you desire, you must remain unmoved by appearances. You must trust that what you have assumed is already in motion, even if there is no visible evidence yet. Think of planting a seed. You do not dig it up every day to check if it is growing. You trust the process, knowing that beneath the surface, unseen forces are at work. The same is true for your desires. Once you have assumed them to be true, your only job is to live in that state. To think, feel, and act as though it is already done. This is the secret of effortless creation. When you stop trying to make things happen and instead dwell in the end, reality bends to match your inner world. What once seemed impossible will unfold naturally, without force or struggle. Simply be the person who already has what they desire, and the world will reflect it. It is law. Every night as you close your eyes and drift into sleep, you stand at the doorway of creation. In this drowsy, relaxed state, your conscious mind fades, and your subconscious becomes highly impressionable. It no longer argues, doubts, or questions. It simply accepts. This is the most powerful moment to reshape your reality, to implant the feeling of your wish fulfilled so deeply that it must manifest in the world around you. Most people go to sleep in a state of worry, regret, or frustration. They replay the troubles of the day, dwell on their struggles, and unknowingly impress these negative feelings upon their subconscious. The next day, they wake up to more of the same circumstances because they have unknowingly recreated them in their sleep. But you can use this time differently. You can enter the state of the wish fulfilled and allow your subconscious to make it real. Before sleep, let go of the outer world. Do not concern yourself with what is happening, what has happened, or what may come. None of that matters. All that matters is the reality you are about to create within. Close your eyes, relax your body, and enter a state of calm. Feel the heaviness of sleep approaching, but remain aware enough to direct your thoughts. This is the perfect moment to assume the feeling of your desire already being yours. See yourself in the life you want, not as an observer, but as a participant. If your desire is love, feel the warmth of it surrounding you. If it is success, hear the words of praise spoken to you. If it is abundance, sense the security and ease of having more than enough. Make the scene as vivid as possible, but more importantly, let it be natural. Do not force it. Let it unfold effortlessly, as though you are recalling a memory rather than creating a fantasy. The key is not just to visualize, but to feel. Feeling is the language of the subconscious. If you simply watch images in your mind without emotion, you are only daydreaming. But the moment you attach a deep, genuine feeling to the scene, as though it is happening now, your subconscious accepts it as truth. And what the subconscious accepts as true, it must bring to life. Persist in this feeling until sleep takes over. Let yourself drift off in the assumption that your desire is already fulfilled. This is not a time to think about how it will happen or to question whether it is working. This is a time to surrender to the feeling of already having what you want. By doing this, you impress your subconscious with the new reality, and it will work tirelessly to manifest it in ways beyond your comprehension. When you wake, resist the urge to doubt. Do not look at the outer world for immediate proof. Simply trust that the seed has been planted and allow it to unfold. The world you wake up to will soon begin to change, aligning itself with the assumption you fell asleep in. This is the secret of effortless creation. If you sleep each night in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the day will come when you no longer have to imagine it, because it will be your reality. Faith is not hoping, wishing, or waiting for proof. Faith is feeling a deep inner knowing that what you have assumed is already yours. The world may show you nothing yet, there may be no physical evidence, but the moment you feel something as real within, it has already begun to materialize. Most people believe only in what they can see, hear, or touch. They wait for confirmation from the outside world before they allow themselves to believe. But this is not faith. Faith does not require proof. Faith is the ability to feel something into being, to trust in the unseen so completely that it must appear in the seen. Right now, whatever you desire, whether it is love, success, wealth, or healing, exists as a possibility. It is not separate from you. The only thing keeping it at a distance is your belief that it is not yet real. But the moment you accept it within, the moment you feel its reality before seeing it, the process of manifestation begins. Your subconscious takes that feeling as truth, and the world around you starts to shift to reflect it. Most people sabotage their own desires by looking for evidence too soon. They assume their wish fulfilled for a moment, then immediately check their surroundings to see if anything has changed. When they see the same circumstances, they doubt, they question, and they fall back into their old state of lack. This wavering cancels out their assumption. You must persist in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, regardless of what the physical world shows you. Think of a seed planted in the soil. The moment you plant it, the process of growth has already begun, even though you cannot see it yet. If you keep digging it up to check if it is growing, you will only delay its progress. The same is true for your desires. Once you have assumed them as real within, leave them undisturbed. Trust that the unseen forces are working to bring them into form. Feeling is the secret ingredient. It is not enough to simply say, I believe. You must feel the reality of your desire. If you desire love, feel the warmth and joy of being in that loving relationship now. If you desire success, feel the confidence, the satisfaction, the ease of already being successful. Do not wait for the world to give you permission to feel this way. Feel it now, and the world will follow. Faith is not passive. It is an active state of being. It is living as though your desire is already a fact, speaking as though it is done, walking as though you are the person who already has it. When you truly embody this feeling, you will no longer need proof, because you know it is done. And once you know it is done within, it must become done without. This is the great mystery of creation. The world does not shape your belief shapes the world. Change your inner feeling, hold firm in your faith, and reality will bend to match it. Everything you seek, love, success, abundance, or peace, begins within you. The outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner state. When you learn to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, to trust in the unseen, and to persist in that inner knowing, you become the master of your reality. There is no need to struggle, chase, or doubt. Simply feel it as real, and the world will rearrange itself to match your assumption. Do not be deceived by what your senses show you today. The circumstances you see are only the echoes of past thoughts and beliefs. but you are not bound by them. At any moment you can step into a new state of being, a new assumption, and watch as your world transforms before you. The key is faith. Not blind hope, but the deep, unwavering feeling that it is already done. If you can fall asleep in the state of your fulfilled desire, if you can carry that knowing throughout your day, and if you can trust that the unseen is more real than the seen, then nothing will be impossible for you. You are the creator of your reality. Feel it, believe it, and it must be so. Thank you. Listen carefully, this is not a story of luck. It is a testimony of divine law in motion. I did not win the lottery once, nor twice, but 8 times, by simply speaking into existence what was already mine. There is no randomness in this world. The patterns of life respond to the patterns of thought. Every win, every manifestation, every shift in reality begins with a spoken word, an unshakable decree. When I first set my intention, I did not ask. I did not plead. I did not say, I hope I win. I did not say, maybe one day. I did not entertain the possibility of failure. I lived in the certainty that it was already accomplished. Every morning, every night, I repeated these words with conviction. And then I let go. I did not check obsessively. I did not doubt. I continued my days as if the prize was secured, because in truth, it was. You see, the moment you align with the state of having, reality has no choice but to conform. You are not waiting for wealth, it is waiting for you to step into alignment. And when the first win came, I did not feel surprise, I felt confirmation. When the second, the third, the fourth win arrived, I knew it was simply the law unfolding. Each time I spoke the words, I reinforced the truth. Some may call it luck, some may call it coincidence, but I call it law. A universal principle that bends to the one who knows how to wield it. Now I ask you, are you willing to step into the power of your own spoken word? Are you ready to speak as if it is already done? The words you speak, whether aloud or within, shape the very foundation of your reality. Every thought, every phrase, and every sentence that passes through your mind or escapes your lips is not just a fleeting notion. It is a seed planted in the soil of your subconscious. And what is the subconscious but the boundless, fertile ground where all manifestations take root? It does not question. It does not resist. It merely receives and fulfills. Imagine for a moment that your mind is a grand mirror, reflecting back to you the sum of your most dominant thoughts and spoken words. If you speak of lack, of struggle, of misfortune, then life, obedient to the command of your words, will shape itself accordingly. If you affirm with certainty that abundance is yours, that success follows you, that you are divinely favored, then the world around you must conform. It cannot do otherwise, for the universe does not discriminate. It simply echoes what you declare. Most people walk through life unaware of the immense creative power they hold within their words. They say things in passing, unaware that every utterance carries weight. They speak of deaths, of fears, of endless obstacles, and then they wonder why life seems to mirror their worries. But the subconscious does not recognize jokes, nor does it understand when you are merely speaking without intention. It takes everything as truth. The moment you say, I never have enough money, your mind registers it as an order, and reality bends to fulfill it. When you complain, I always struggle, You are giving permission for struggle to persist. But just as words can create limitation, they can also liberate. The moment you become conscious of what you speak, you reclaim your power. You begin to see that every word is an instruction to the unseen forces that shape your experience. And if you can instruct limitation, you can also instruct abundance. If you have unknowingly declared defeat, you can just as easily declare victory. This is why repetition is key. The words you repeat most often become the strongest beliefs in your mind. And belief is the force that moves mountains, that shifts realities, that opens doors unseen. If you repeat, I am always provided for, money flows to me in ease, your subconscious absorbs this as truth. And once something is accepted as truth, reality has no choice but to comply. This is not mere wishful thinking. This is not empty optimism. This is the law in motion. Look around you. Every great leader, every individual who has shaped history has understood this at some level. They have spoken their success into existence long before the world recognized it. They have affirmed their destiny, even when their circumstances showed no evidence of it. You too must do the same. You must become mindful of the words you allow to pass through your lips. Speak only what you wish to see made manifest. Replace words of lack with words of abundance. Instead of saying, I hope it happens, say, it is already done. Instead of saying, I don't know if I can do this, declare, I am fully capable and everything is aligning for me. From this moment forward, guard your words as you would guard your most precious treasure, for indeed they are. Speak life, speak success, speak joy, and watch as the world around you reshapes itself to match the truth you have declared. When you assume something to be true with unwavering faith, the entire world moves to reflect that assumption. This is not theory. This is law. What you hold as a firm belief within your consciousness is mirrored back to you in your external reality. There is no separation between what you deeply accept as fact and what materializes in your life. The outer world is nothing more than a reflection of the inner world, molded by the thoughts you consistently entertain and the convictions you refuse to let go of. Most people do not realize that they are constantly assuming, whether consciously or unconsciously. Every day they assume things about themselves, about their circumstances, and about their future. Some assume failure before they even begin. They assume they are unlucky, that success is hard to attain, that wealth is reserved for others. And what happens? Life proves them right, not because the world is cruel, but because the world has no choice. It must conform to the assumptions you hold as truth. But just as one can assume lack, one can assume abundance. Just as one can assume struggle, one can assume ease. The key is unwavering faith. Faith so absolute that it does not waver in the face of appearances. If you assume yourself to be wealthy, to be loved, to be successful, and persist in that assumption regardless of what your senses tell you, then the world will bend to make it so. It must. That is the nature of reality. Assumption is not mere wishful thinking, it is a state of being. It is stepping into the feeling of already having that which you desire. It is knowing that the moment you claim something as yours, it has already begun to unfold, even if you cannot yet see it. The delay between assumption and manifestation is simply the time it takes for reality to adjust itself to match your inner conviction. Many make the mistake of assuming something only for a moment, then allowing doubt to creep in. They say, I am wealthy, but when they check their bank account and see little change, they immediately revert to old beliefs of lack. But true assumption does not falter. It does not check for proof. It does not look for evidence. It assumes boldly, without hesitation, without compromise. Think of an actor who steps into a role so fully that they become the character. They do not question whether they are convincing. They embody the role completely. That is how you must assume. You must take on the state of the person who already has what you desire. Walk as they would walk. Think as they would think. Feel as they would feel. Do not wait for the evidence to appear. The moment you make an assumption and hold firm to it, unseen forces begin to move. Opportunities arise. People appear. Circumstances shift. The world rearranges itself, sometimes in ways beyond comprehension. This is not coincidence. This is law. The law does not fail, it only reflects. So assume the best. Assume that life is working in your favor. Assume that everything you desire is already yours. And then watch, without doubt or hesitation, as the world conforms to your belief. You must not wish, you must not hope. You must know with absolute certainty that your desire is already yours. This is the secret to bringing forth anything you wish to experience. The mistake many make is in believing that their desires exist somewhere in the future, always just out of reach, dependent on circumstances they cannot control. But the truth is, what you seek is already here, waiting to be claimed. And the way to claim it is by living in the end. To live in the end means to assume right now that you already have what you desire. It is no longer a distant possibility, no longer a goal. You must accept it as your present reality even before it appears to your physical senses. The world will always reflect back to you what you believe to be true, not what you want to be true, but what you know to be true. If you persist in the assumption that you already have your desire, the world must conform to that belief. It is law. But how does one live in the end? It is not about pretending or forcing external action. It is about stepping into the state of the fulfilled desire within yourself. Ask yourself, if my wish were already fulfilled, how would I feel? How would I think? How would I carry myself? Then embody those feelings and thoughts now. Feel the relief, the joy, the gratitude, as if what you desire is already a fact in your life. If you wish to be wealthy, stop thinking and acting as someone in lack. If you wish to be loved, stop yearning and start knowing that love is already yours. Your subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. If you impress upon it the feeling of already having what you seek, it will accept that as fact and set the unseen forces of reality into motion to bring it about. The external world is nothing more than a reflection of your internal state. And when your internal state is unwavering in its assumption of fulfillment, the outer world must catch up. This is why mere wishing and hoping do not work. When you wish for something, you are affirming that you do not have it. When you hope for something, you are placing it in the future, separate from yourself. But when you live in the end, you remove all separation. You claim it as yours, and reality has no choice but to comply. You must remain faithful to this assumption, no matter what your current circumstances suggest. The physical world may not shift instantly, but that does not mean your assumption is false. A seed does not sprout the moment it is planted. It takes time to grow. Likewise, when you persist in the state of your fulfilled desire, reality begins adjusting, aligning people, events, and circumstances to bring about the physical manifestation. Whenever, do not waver, do not look to the outer world for validation. Simply rest in the feeling of already having your desire and let the unseen forces of creation do the rest. If you can hold firm in your assumption, with no doubt, no contradiction, and no concern for how it will unfold, you will watch as the world rearranges itself to reflect your inner certainty. That is the power of living in the end. Repetition is the key to mastery, the force that imprints ideas upon the subconscious mind, shaping reality in its image. Just as water carves through stone with persistence, the words you repeat, whether aloud or in the silence of your thoughts, mold the substance of your world. Your subconscious does not judge, question, or resist. It simply absorbs and reflects whatever is consistently impressed upon it. Many believe change requires struggle, but true transformation comes through repetition. Whatever you feed your mind repeatedly, whether consciously or unconsciously, becomes your truth. If you constantly affirm lack, struggle, and limitation, your subconscious will take these as commands and shape your reality accordingly. If, however, you choose to repeat words of abundance, success, and fulfillment, those too will take root, and soon they will manifest in ways beyond your logical understanding. The power of repetition lies in its ability to bypass the analytical mind, the part of you that questions, doubts, and clings to old conditioning. Through sheer consistency, repeated words sink deep into the subconscious, where they become beliefs, and beliefs become lived experiences. There is no force in the universe stronger than a deeply held belief, and repetition is the tool that creates it. Consider how habits are formed. At first, a new behavior may feel unnatural, but through repetition, it becomes second nature. The same is true of thought. If you begin repeating a phrase such as, "I am wealthy," "I am successful," "I am loved," at first it may feel untrue, but if you persist, if you say it daily, if you impress it upon yourself with conviction, it will become so familiar to your mind that it is accepted as fact. And once it is accepted, it must express itself in your reality. Doubt cannot withstand the power of repetition. In the beginning, the conscious mind may resist. It may argue against your new affirmations, pointing to external conditions that contradict them. But repetition overrides this resistance. Say the words anyway. Let them become so ingrained that they no longer feel like affirmations, but simple statements of truth. The subconscious will respond in kind, orchestrating events, drawing circumstances, and aligning people to make your repeated words a tangible reality. This is why the most successful people in any field understand the necessity of repeating their vision, their goals, their affirmations. They do not leave their beliefs to chance. They choose their words carefully and repeat them relentlessly. They understand that the mind is a garden, and repetition is the act of watering the seeds they wish to grow. You are always imprinting upon your subconscious, whether intentionally or not. Every word you say, every phrase you repeat is a command to the unseen forces of creation. Choose wisely. If you desire a life of abundance, repeat words of abundance. If you wish to experience love, repeat words of love. Do not let careless negative words take root in your mind, for they too will manifest. Let repetition become your ally. Speak as if your desires are already fulfilled, and through the power of imprinting, they will become so. Just as water carves through stone, your repeated words will carve the path to your destiny. Gratitude is not merely a polite gesture. It is a powerful force that confirms to the universe that your desire is already yours. Most people wait until they receive something before they express gratitude, but the secret to manifestation is to give thanks in advance. When you feel grateful for something before it appears, You send a signal to the unseen forces of creation that you already possess it, and reality must conform to that belief. The mistake many make is in separating themselves from their desires, believing they exist somewhere in the future, always just out of reach. But gratitude dissolves that illusion of separation. It shifts your awareness from wanting to having, from lack to fulfillment. When you say, "Thank you that I am wealthy, thank you that I am loved, thank you that my desires are fulfilled," you are not hoping or wishing, you are confirming, and confirmation is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. Your subconscious mind responds to feeling, not empty words. This is why gratitude is so effective. It carries a deep emotional charge. When you feel truly grateful, your entire being aligns with the state of having, and when you remain in that state, your external world must shift to match it. The law is simple. What you believe and feel to be true manifests. Gratitude is the emotional proof that you already possess what you seek, and the universe has no choice but to reflect it back to you. Many who struggle with manifestation find themselves trapped in a cycle of wanting. They constantly affirm, visualize, and repeat their desires, but their underlying state is one of lack. They are still waiting for evidence before they allow themselves to believe. But gratitude allows you to bypass this limitation. When you give thanks before seeing results, you are no longer waiting, you are knowing. And knowing is the key to receiving. This is why some people seem to manifest effortlessly. It is not because they are lucky, but because they naturally embody the feeling of already having. They walk in confidence, they feel blessed before the blessing arrives, and because they expect it with unwavering gratitude, it comes. You must live as though your desire is already fulfilled. Speak and think in ways that reflect this truth. Instead of saying, "I hope to receive more money," say, "I am so grateful that money flows to me with ease." Instead of longing for love, say, "I give thanks that I am surrounded by love in all forms." Make gratitude your natural response to life, not just for what you already have, but for what is on its way. Gratitude is the highest form of faith. It shows that you trust the unseen, that you believe in the creative power within you. And faith does not beg or plead, it assumes, it thanks, it rests in the certainty of fulfillment. When you truly grasp this, you will no longer chase after desires, wondering when they will arrive. You will know they are already yours, and through gratitude you will witness them unfold before your eyes. There is no need to chase what is already yours. The moment you declare your desire with conviction, it is set into motion. The unseen forces of creation begin aligning events, people, and circumstances to bring your desire into form. But for many, the greatest obstacle is not in declaring what they want. It is in their inability to let go and trust. They plant the seed, yet they keep digging it up, checking for signs, worrying, doubting, and wondering if it will really happen. This is where faith and detachment must take their rightful place. Detachment is not indifference, it is confidence. It is the deep, unwavering knowing that once you have spoken your desire, it is done. It does not require your constant interference. Just as a farmer does not hover anxiously over his crops, wondering if they will grow, you too must trust that the seed of your word is already working beneath the surface. Your role is to assume its fulfillment, not to force it into being. Many fall into the trap of begging and chasing, believing that the harder they try, the faster their desires will manifest. But effort born of desperation only reinforces the idea that the desire is not yet yours. This is why those who are desperate for love often repel it, why those who chase money seem to struggle endlessly, and why those who are anxious about success never seem to grasp it. Their focus remains on the lack of what they seek, rather than on the certainty of its arrival. Faith is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. When you truly believe that what you have declared is already set in motion, you do not need to see evidence before you rest in the assurance of its fulfillment. You simply know. This knowing allows you to move through life with ease, free from doubt, free from worry, and free from the exhausting need to force things into being. The united one within and without the world, we know we are the only ones. Unless we dissuade ourselves, and now go, or let me put it, dissuade ourselves. Consider the air you breathe. You do not chase after it, nor do you wonder if it will be available to you. You trust in its presence. You do not panic, question, or beg for each breath. You simply inhale, knowing it is there. This is the same level of trust you must cultivate with your desires. The moment you declare it, it is already in motion. You do not need to grasp or cling. You only need to trust. Does not mean giving up on your desires. It means releasing the need to make them happen. It is a state of complete faith, where you no longer operate from a place of need, but from a place of already having. And when you embody this mindset, you free yourself from unnecessary struggle. The universe responds to this certainty, and what you have spoken must unfold effortlessly in its perfect time. Let go of the need to control. Speak your words, declare your vision, and then release it with absolute trust. Live in the assumption that it is already yours. Walk in the confidence that the moment you spoke it, the universe heard you. And when you least expect it, when you are no longer grasping or searching, your desire will manifest in ways more perfect than you could have ever imagined. The power to create your reality has always been within you. Every word you speak, every assumption you hold, and every emotion you embrace shapes the world around you. When you understand that your words are commands to the subconscious, that assumption solidifies reality. That repetition imprints your desires, and that gratitude confirms their fulfillment. You unlock a life of effortless manifestation. There is no need to chase, force, or beg. The moment you declare something with conviction, it is set into motion. Your only task is to trust, to detach from the need to see immediate proof, and to walk in the knowing that what you have spoken is already yours. The universe does not withhold, it simply mirrors back to you the state you embody. Live as though your desires are already fulfilled. Feel the joy of possession, give thanks in advance, and let go of the need to control the process. Trust that everything is unfolding perfectly in divine timing and in the best possible way. When you operate from this deep sense of faith and certainty, reality will shape itself to match your inner world. You are not a victim of circumstances, you are the creator of them. Speak with authority, assume the best, and know that the unseen is always working in your favor. The moment you align with this truth, life will become a seamless flow of effortless manifestations. Thank you for listening, and may you walk forward with unwavering faith in the power within you.